Hi, Matt Bisogno from Tennis Profits here. I'd like to give you a quick feature update on what we've been doing recently and what's coming next. So let's get on with that. So in this video we're going to cover three things. We're going to cover the updated trading stats report, a freshened up metrics page, and the coming soon match stats strategy filters. So let's start with the TSR. So you'll be familiar with the trading stats report. It's a great place to identify potential trades on a daily basis. First of all, most obviously, we've freshened up the look of it a little bit. We've just boxed the columns, and if I just put a bit more data in here, you'll see how that tidies things up. If I highlight the dominant player, for example, it's all a little bit cleaner anyway. The next thing to say is that, very importantly, we've fundamentally changed the red, amber, green colouring based on something a bit more concrete. So when we started the trading stats report, we used our subject matter expert, Paul Trade Shark Shires. We used his best estimate of where the green, amber and red should be. But more recently, we've produced these metrics for each tour that give us an average for each statistic that we carry, and so it made sense for us to use those metrics as a much more reliable guideline on where these colours should be. So we've done that. So the amber colouring will be plus or minus a small amount for each tour average. So for service hold on ATP, amber will be plus or minus a small percentage of 79, so something like 76 to 82, but not specifically that. Red will be below 76, or that number at the lower end of the amber scale, and green will be 82 or above, essentially above the upper end of the amber scale. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, it's all based on, as you can see here, for service hold on the ATP tour, we've got 232,000 data points in the last 2 years for that statistic. So these are very big sample sizes, very reliable numbers, and much more scientific in their creation than what we had previously, which was more experiential. So I'm pleased with that. I'm pleased to add that in, and obviously it looks a lot cleaner now with the boxing. We've also added a few additional stats into some of the TSR strategy setups, so you'll see those as you go along. And one thing that I want to point out here is that if you sort by a column and you've got multiple tours selected, you might see something that at first glance looks a bit odd. Let's put it on key stats a minute, and we'll put all the tours on, and if I sort by service hold, you'll see that this is sorted high to low on service hold, and you'll see that we've got green, but we've got amber in here. And if we go further down through the list, you'll see that we've got greens and ambers and reds all in together. Now the reason for this is because we've selected multiple tours, and looking at service hold specifically, you'll see that the average for ATP is 79%. The average for women on the ITF is 57%, right? So there's this massive differential, and again, red, amber and green is tour specific. So green on the women's ITF, for instance, will be something like 60, whereas that would be very red on ATP, men's challenger, even men's ITF, and that's why you see these what looks a little bit strange on first glance, but it's all tour specific. So if we look only at Challenger, for example, actually that's a bad example. If we look only at ATP, because on the Challenger and ITF we've got men's and women's. So if we look at ATP only, you'll see this. You'll see what you expect in terms of the colour, from green to amber and to red. There just aren't many matches today because it's men's semi-final at French Open on the ATP. I'm cheering Casper Ruud to win it, but I think he may have done his winning already. Anyway, it's a great Final Four there. So that's what we've done with the trading stats report. It's just a lot more up together now. I think it's based on better science, and we've added in a few more relevant stats, and it's just a little bit cleaner as well. So I hope you like that. The next thing to show you is the metrics report, which I've already highlighted here. So what we've actually done here is not a great deal, but we've changed the stat labels here so that they match exactly the stat labels on the match stats pages. So this is Swiatek Paolini, which will be tomorrow, and you can see that we've got service hold, return points 1, break point save, and now we've got service hold, service points 1, break point save, and so on. So the labels on the metrics page exactly replicate the labels on the match stats pages, and we've also added in, there were a few omissions on the metrics page previously, so now we should have, I think we've got all of the stats on here align with all of the stats on here, so they're completely consistent now. So that's a small thing, but I think it's kind of helpful when you're looking at a match stats page and you wonder what the average is. It's much easier to find that average stat now. We also have an Italian version of the metrics page, and I will link to this in the menu under metrics, and as you can see, it's written in Italian. I won't try to pronounce that because I'll make a mess of it, but you can see that the labels are still in English, and that's because we wanted them to align with these. Again, they wanted them to be the same as these, but if you hover over the labels, they are in Italian. So if you want to know what a label means, if you're Italian and you want to know what a label means, there you go. Percentuale di volte in cui gli avversa. I told you I shouldn't read it. Awful. I apologise for that. Sorry, not very good. I can't speak Italian. Yeah, so that's those are the metriche in Italian, and we've used some automated translation here. So if you're an Italian subscriber and you use this page, please do tell us about any errors or badly worded sections in the Italian text, and we will update those if you tell us how to. Okay, so thank you for that. The last thing I want to show you is something that's still in development, and these are our trading strategy shortlist filters. So the reason it's still in development is because we are working hard to make sure that the numbers we use so this is essentially an automated process that flags these potential trades each day against each strategy. We're working hard to make sure that the numbers we use are the right percentages to highlight a player as having an advantage or a potential advantage against a given strategy. We could publish this now as it is, but the most important thing is not these blobs here that highlight potential trades, and you'll see this one's got swing trading highlighted. The most important thing is for the numbers behind these to be the best that we think they can be for flagging potential trades, for highlighting matches that we think might suit a certain trading strategy. So we will take our time to do that, to get that as good as we think we can, and once we have that, then as you can see, it's ready to go. Like it's pretty cool. You can choose AVB, which is essentially the strategies will be flagged based on one player versus the other, one player's stats versus the others, so the edge that player A has over player B, or the edge that player B has over player A. The other option is tour average, and this is based on the stats against the average for that stat for the tour, so the ATP average for these matches here, the WTA average for these matches here, and so on. So you can choose between a player comparison or a tour average comparison, and obviously we've got the strategies here. But as I say, it's very important that we get the averages, the statistics, the percentages behind what powers this right, so that once we have that, we can just switch this on like that. And I'd be very excited to share that in due course. I think it's going to be a real game-changing shortcut for you in terms of your research phase, in terms of finding matches that are potentially ones that you want to trade. Obviously you still go through and look at the data and do your own due diligence and good research, but I think this is going to be a big uplift when it comes, and it will be coming soon. I don't want to say definitely, but I want to say almost certainly in time for Wimbledon. We just need to work through, as I say, the various combinations of different numbers and make sure that we think that we've got the best set of percentages behind these blobs that we can. Okay, so that's it. Trading stats report and the new metrics report are there ready now. The strategy shortlist filters will be joining them very soon. Just the latest developments that we've got for you at Tennis Profits. I hope you like them, and bye for now.